Right now on Morning News Now, Turkey takeoff. Today, airports across America packed with people one day before Thanksgiving. And already the travel rush is on track to break travel records. But dueling storms could delay your holiday plans. We've got team coverage for you. Also this morning, celebration and relief in the Middle East as a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah takes effect after more than 1 year of war.
The left of Hezbollah and other terrorist organizations will not be allowed, well, I emphasize, will not be allowed to threaten the security of Israel again. So now Hamas has a choice to make. Their only way out is to release the hostages.
Now Israel's prime minister vowing to enforce the deal and respond to any violations. But in Gaza, the fighting continues. We'll bring you the latest on the agreement, the reaction, and what happens next. And transition turmoil. This morning, the new Trump administration working to make good on the president-elect's controversial campaign promises. Mr. Trump's border czar paying a visit to Texas to talk about his mass deportation plan. Plus, new concerns that tariffs could start a trade war, which could trickle down to your wallet. And fitness with all the fixins. That's right, you can have it all, even on Thanksgiving. So you can maybe put those stretchy pants away. We'll share some easy swaps to make your turkey dinner a little bit healthier this year. Good morning. Thanks for being here. I'm Stephen Romo in for Joe and Savannah today. And let's start with this busy Thanksgiving travel week. The crush is already on at airports, highways, even train stations coast to coast, with that record 80 million travelers heading out to their holiday destinations today alone. The TSA expects close to 3 million people to pass through airport security. AAA says there will be nearly 1 million more drivers on the road this year than we saw last year. But some good news there. The national gas average is down almost 25 cents. However, you'll want to be aware if you're traveling to the Northeast or Mid-Atlantic, you may need to pack an umbrella and also a winter coat because forecasters are predicting a wet and cold, possibly even snowy Thanksgiving Day. We'll have travel expert Katie Nastro here with some tips before you head out to your Thanksgiving destination, and meteorologist Angie Lastman standing by with that holiday forecast. But we start with NBC News reporter Gary Grumbach, who is live at a rest area in Woodbridge, Virginia, south of Washington, D.C. on Interstate 95, possibly the busiest highway in America today. Gary, good morning to you. I know it's still early out there, but things are already looking pretty busy. How are things going so far this morning?
Hey, good morning, Stephen. Yeah, things are already busy, even for us just to get here from the D.C. area. Things were slow going southbound on I-95, and you can see it's already starting to back up here on I-95 southbound. Northbound still looks pretty good. Our friends at Hertz, the car rental company, tells us that some of the biggest areas for their rentals are from Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Miami. So those areas are where we're going to see some significant traffic problems as well. But there is some good news when it comes to all of this. Those folks you see on the road right now, they are paying less for their gas than they were this time last year. Last year, we're talking $3.25 a gallon for regular. This year, down almost a full quarter, just over $3 a gallon. Some places, you're paying less than $3. So that's some good news on this Thanksgiving holiday, Stephen.
I'm sure those people seeing traffic at 7 a.m. will take all the good news they can get. And 307, not too bad, Gary. Let's also talk logistics. If people are heading out today, what are you hearing about the best time to hit the roads, and what areas might travelers just want to avoid and be on the lookout for those traffic jams?
Yeah, ideally, the best time to hit the road is right after Angie and I talk about this, because this morning is going to be the best time, before 10 a.m. local time, wherever you are, preferably. This afternoon is going to be the busiest. Folks getting off work on their Wednesday, headed out to Grandma's house. That is when we're expecting the busiest time. And, of course, those metro areas that you expect, New York, L.A., Austin, Texas, bigger cities, that is where we're going to see some of the most traffic.
All right, and Gary, we're going to get more about the forecast from Angie in just a moment, but parts of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, they are expecting the wet, wintry weather in the next 24 hours. What should drivers keep in mind for those conditions?
Yeah, so we have a fancy graphic with some tips here for you, but I think the first one that's not listed on there is just use your common sense, right? It's rainy, it's snowy in some parts of this country this week, so we're going to want to take it slow, right? If the speed limit's 70, maybe go a little bit less than that so we're not running into each other. Also, we're going to make sure that we're not using cruise control. It certainly would be convenient to use cruise control, especially on I-95, up and down the eastern corridor. That is not something we want to do when it's rainy, especially tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day. And of course, when we hear this all the time when it comes to severe storms, the idea of turn around, don't drown. Don't be going through standing water in your car. Again, just using common sense on this holiday. Stephen?
Common sense goes a long way. All right, Gary, thanks so much. All right, now let's check in with meteorologist Angie Lastman with your morning news now forecast. A lot of parades, a lot of stuff happening, Angie. This wet weather is not very welcome.
It isn't, and it's not all bad news. We do, of course, have some trouble spots, Stephen, but there are some spots across the country that you're going to have delightful weather. We'll get to those, too. We won't leave you out. This morning, even across the east, mainly quiet. Most of the country pretty quiet. We just had this batch of some snow and some rain, that kind of wintry mix stretched across the Rockies. That's part of the system that's really going to be giving us the headaches over the next couple of days when it comes to travel or getting where we need to go for our celebrations. Here's how it plays out through the day today. Notice by the time we get to 8 p.m. tonight, so this evening, that rain has shifted into the Ohio Valley. We're seeing impacts across the Midwest. But this morning, it's the snow across the Rockies that'll slowly but surely taper off as the morning goes on. And then this rain works into places like St. Louis and Cincinnati as we get through the day. By tomorrow, here comes the rain for the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, as well as parts of New England picking up some additional snow. We're also going to see some wind, so the roads are going to be difficult. We'll likely see slick travel and slow travel from basically Virginia up to Maine. This is going to be kind of pesky for, of course, parades that Stephen just mentioned, but also just travel in general, getting to and from where you're going. Big picture today, if you're headed somewhere, I think most of the country, again, quite nice. The portions of the south, you're not going to see likely any delays. Up and down the East Coast, not expecting any air travel delays from Boston to Atlanta and down to Miami. Even Dallas, Houston, Phoenix, LA, all look pretty good when it comes to air travel. It's just Denver and St. Louis that I think could be a little iffy with the snow and the rain. And that goes for the roads in those areas as well, going from Cincinnati to St. Louis and out towards Denver. That's where you'll likely see some slower goes when it comes to road travel. As we get to Thanksgiving Day, here's that big batch of rain with that system working east. The wet snow, the strong storms, that's all on the table for folks. Elsewhere, Chicago, Kansas City, Denver, Salt Lake City, you're going to see dry skies. Now, some spots will be quite cold. I mean, very cold in parts of the northern plains with just 20s for our highs, but you're not going to see likely any delays on the roads. It'll just be the east that things are kind of a mess. So Boston, New York, Washington, D.C., down to Jacksonville, that's where things will be a little iffy for folks. Wrapping up the holiday week and heading into the weekend. Here's your Friday. Notice better conditions, especially across the East Coast. All of that rain works out. We've got dry skies and bright conditions left behind. But notice the lake effect snow that's going to ramp up. This will be something that's going to be impactful through the weekend. So this is Friday, but likely in places like Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, we could see some delays ongoing throughout the weekend. Those are the spots that we're going to watch for Friday, though. It'll also be windy, but anywhere else, I mean, San Francisco, Denver, Atlanta, Charlotte, New York, all look pretty good when it comes to airports for Friday if you're heading home. On the roadways, again, it's going to be right around the lake effect areas that we could see a little bit of a slower go. And that's the main story here as we get into Saturday, too, Stephen. We see temperatures, of course, dipping down in places like the northern plains, just a high of 19 degrees for Minneapolis. That's the start of the next trend that we're going to see over the coming days. The cold air filtering in, it's going to feel like winter. We've had a fairly mild fall for a lot of folks, and that's going to be a big change up here going through the next couple of days. But if you're still going to be traveling home on Saturday, New York, Detroit, Chicago, not expecting a whole lot in the way of delays, but again, that lake effect snow, it'll be impressive, and it will cause, of course, some slower goes on the roads as well, but pretty good for Saturday across the country. And finally, Sunday, there it is. It's the big story hasn't changed a lot. We've got great conditions out west, the Southwest specifically, mild into the mid-60s for Las Vegas, low 50s for Atlanta. The lake effect snow still ongoing. This is going to be one that really piles up in some of these areas, but the cold will get your attention. Chicago, your high on Sunday, just 29 degrees. We head to the mid-40s in Wichita. Raleigh ends up just at 49 29 degrees. So ready or not, here comes the cold air. If you are traveling in the airports, Detroit, Chicago, really the only potential areas of issue. But I think, look at all that green up and down the East Coast. That's great news, especially for hubs like Atlanta, Dallas. We've got Los Angeles, too, with nice conditions for getting home and finishing up that holiday weekend.
I just realized I want to go to Vegas for Thanksgiving.
Should we?
Yeah, let's go. The mid-60s?
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. And dry skies. I mean, no complaints from our friends in Vegas.
No, not at all. All right, Angie, thanks so much.
You got it.
Well, despite the forecast, it is expected to be another busy travel day, of course, today, all across the U.S. ahead of the holiday tomorrow. So if you are in the middle of packing up and about to head out, we have some advice on how to make your holiday travel as stress-free as possible. For more on that, let's bring in Katie Nastro, travel expert for the travel website Going.com. Katie, good morning to you. Thanks for being here. So a lot of people have already headed to the airport or they've hit the roads. How are we looking in terms of delays and cancellations so far, and how is the rest of the week shaping up?
Yeah, Stephen, it actually is looking pretty good. Good news coming into this Wednesday before what I like to call the Super Bowl of travel weeks when it comes to how many people are hitting the road as well as the skies. We're seeing that even yesterday, there were only some delays and little to no cancellations. And we know that cancellations are far harder to deal with for travelers. So anybody that was dealing with the delay, you get to your destination a little bit later. Cancellations, you have to deal with rebooking, or per the new DOT regulations, you are able to get that refund, but then that means having to figure out alternate means of transport. So this is a hopeful spot for people traveling this week so far.
Yeah, people will take all the hope they can get. And as we've already reported, about 80 million people, they are traveling for Thanksgiving, according to AAA. The TSA has already seen a record number of screenings for other holidays this year. So what is your advice for travelers who can how they can find a way to save some time as they do head to the airport and get in those lines?
Yeah, look, the 2024 is record-breaking even outside of this week. We've seen the 10 busiest days on record ever recorded by the TSA. So it's likely that this week, as well as heading into the winter holidays, you're going to experience busy airports, and that can compound into long lines for coffee, as well as checking in bags. So, some of our best pieces of advice, obviously arriving early, but if you can try to avoid checking a bag, not only are you going to avoid bag fees that have risen in the last year, but also that's another long line you're going to have to wait in, as well as I always like to download the Airline's app so I can map out the exact time that it takes from security to get to my gate that my flight is flying out of. That way, I'm really budgeting as best as possible how much time it takes to then factor in for coffee or bathroom stops or whatnot, as well as downloading the My TSA app to get real-time updates on what travelers are seeing through security, especially for those of us that don't have TSA PreCheck, which if you apply now, you can get it for the winter holidays, and that is always a time saver when it comes to navigating those long security lines.
Yeah, PreCheck. I actually just got it this year. It is a game changer. Katie, we know Black Friday is a big day for deals, but there's also Travel Tuesday, which is next week coming up on December 3rd. What are you watching for deal-wise on that day?
Yeah, Stephen, Travel Tuesday is a funny one. It's really taking the travel world by storm, and we're seeing promotions even before the day is even here. And so we want people to go into it with a trip in mind, do a little bit of back of napkin math in terms of how much they believe this trip will cost. And we want people to also be a little bit skeptical. We know from our years of experience at Going that advertised deals aren't necessarily the absolute best deals. So we want you to have an air of cynicism and triple check that fine print, because a lot of these deals that we are seeing already have blackout dates, are only allowed to travel in between certain months, non-refundable. And sometimes, for example, the best deals are tied to loyalty programs that you might not be a part of. Now, they are free to sign up, but again, we don't want you to get sort of tricked and taken thinking that one price is not necessarily available to you. But we are seeing some good deals, especially over to Asia. Average price of airfare for Asia is down 13%. So this is definitely a time to jump on deals like heading to Tokyo from San Francisco for only $560 round trip, or you can head to Bali from the West Coast for $643. All of those are full service airlines available right now during the Travel Tuesday ahead promotions.
Some good deals in there and some healthy cynicism. I like the sound of that. Katie Nastro, thanks so much. All right, let's turn now to some major developments out of the Middle East. A ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah went into effect overnight. That's after a deal was finally agreed to on Tuesday. The 60-day truce led to a lot of relief in Lebanon, which bore the brunt of the war. Israel's bombing campaign killed more than 3,800 people in Lebanon and displaced more than 1 million people. This morning, thousands of those displaced civilians are returning to their homes in southern Lebanon, despite warnings from the IDF that it is not yet safe. In Israel, the reaction has been more subdued. More than 100 people were killed there, and 60,000 were forced to leave the northern part of the country due to Hezbollah rocket attacks. The U.S. and France brokered this deal, and President Biden laid out the main terms of the agreement at the White House yesterday.
This is designed to be a permanent cessation of hostilities. The Lebanese army and state security forces will deploy and take control of their own territory once again. And over the next 60 days, Israel will gradually withdraw its remaining forces. And civilians on both sides will soon be able to safely return to their communities.
NBC News correspondent Hala Garani is in Jerusalem for us this morning. And we're also joined by White House correspondent Mike Memoli. Good morning to you both. So, Hala, let's start with you. The ceasefire, about 10 hours old, a little more than that right now. How is it holding, and what has the reaction been from Lebanon and Israel this morning?
So it appears to be holding, as you just said. It's about 10 hours old, this ceasefire, as we call to prayer. Here it sounds over the Jerusalem rooftops, where I'm coming to from East Jerusalem. It appears to be holding. Some minor skirmishes in southern Lebanon. As you said in your intro there, the IDF is warning residents of southern Lebanon not to approach certain positions. They have opened fire on, we understand, one vehicle that approached an Israeli military position today. So it is designed, this deal, to be a permanent ceasefire, though in effect, of course, the proof will be of the pudding, as we say, will be in the eating. In other words, will it hold? There are a lot of spoilers along the way, whether or not Israel will fire back, if it believes that Hezbollah is violating the terms of this ceasefire, how the mechanism for respecting the terms of this ceasefire will operate, and also in Israel itself, when the residents will go back, because the prime minister in Israel has told his countrymen and women not to go back right away. But what you're seeing there, by the way, on the screen are images of cars backed up bumper to bumper going back to southern Lebanon. Here in Israel, about a third of respondents in one recent poll said they think this ceasefire deal is a good thing. About a third said they didn't think that it was a good thing. Many people who oppose it believe that Israel needed to go further in defeating Hezbollah before signing an agreement. Steve.
Well, Mike, let's bring you in here more on that agreement. What do we know about how the U.S. and France actually brokered that deal, and what are the roles of those countries going forward?
Well, Stephen, U.S. officials had been working for months to try not to just to bring an end to this conflict, but to prevent it from escalating into a broader regional war. We're told by U.S. officials that a real breakthrough came, in fact, just days before the U.S. presidential election. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu summoned a top U.S. national security official, Amos Hochstein, to come to Jerusalem to tell him in person that he thought there was a window of opportunity to get to a deal. So we had several weeks of more intensive diplomacy involving Hochstein traveling throughout the region. President Biden placed a call directly to President Macron of France just on Friday as this deal was finally coming together. And these two countries do play an important role in enforcing this ceasefire now. What this deal does is take an existing mechanism that had been used to settle a similar conflict in 2006 involving UN peacekeeping forces and the Lebanese army, adds to it the U.S. and France, who would play a role essentially as a mediator if either side sees that there are violations to this ceasefire agreement. President Biden, during his remarks in the Rose Garden yesterday, insisting that there will be no U.S. troops, boots on the ground, but U.S. officials are saying that U.S. military personnel will be involved in a supporting role as needed as the situation unfolds.
Hala, NBC News has just released a new investigation called Zone of Destruction, and it actually talks about what awaits the displaced Lebanese people when they return home to southern Lebanon, as we saw on screen, that bumper-to-bumper traffic you mentioned. What can you tell us about that and what might await them?
Well, this NBC News investigation has revealed that 5,500, 5,600 or so structures in the zone that the IDF occupied in the south of Lebanon have been destroyed. In other words, about 40% of the buildings in the zone occupied by the IDF have been destroyed, and many, many more in parts of central Beirut, as we've been reporting over the last several weeks. Some very powerful bombs were dropped on densely populated areas in the Lebanese capital, taking down sometimes entire buildings. But in the south, well, all these people who are going back often will find their homes completely destroyed. Some of the residents have spoken to journalists on the ground, telling them that they don't even recognize their streets, can't really figure out even among the destruction where their homes are. So this is going to be a very painful homecoming for a lot of Lebanese people from the south, and it's going to certainly take a lot of time and a lot of money to rebuild, Steve.
Yeah, Zone of Destruction, that investigation really helps you see the scope of that destruction. It's online now if you'd like to find it. Mike, with the news about this ceasefire, can this tell us anything about whether the Biden administration might also secure a ceasefire and hostage return in Gaza? Is the president optimistic at all that he can get something done before his term is up?
Stephen, that is absolutely the hope of President Biden. Obviously, in his remaining 54 days in office, there is no higher diplomatic priority than seeing and hoping that this initial ceasefire with regard to Lebanon can be a stepping stone towards further progress as it relates to Gaza. We heard the president talking about the important diplomatic work that will take not just the U.S., but some of its key regional partners yesterday in the Rose Garden. Take a listen.
Just as the Lebanese people deserve a future of security and prosperity, so do the people of Gaza. They too deserve an end to the fighting and displacement. The people of Gaza have been through hell. Over the coming days, the United States will make another push with Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, Israel, and others to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza. With the hostages released,
now, there are two tracks, really, to the conversations that are happening going forward. One are obviously the direct conversations involving Israel and Hamas. But secondly, the U.S. is really counting on regional partners, including Egypt, including Jordan, the Qataris as well, to provide a plan to help rebuild Gaza once a ceasefire is potentially reached. Another important factor, of course, is the Trump administration coming into office. What role would they play? U.S. national security officials have been in touch with their Trump counterparts, as any potential agreement that would be reached in the coming months would ultimately have to be enforced by the incoming Trump administration.
And Hala, on that front, do we know inside Israel, does this ceasefire deal have any momentum or pressure that is being placed on the Israelis to get a ceasefire deal for Gaza, hopefully for that hostage return?
Well, we heard, as Mike mentioned, the president state that his hope is that this will give a ceasefire deal in Gaza momentum. But on the ground, that is not at all what we're seeing. In fact, the Israeli military is intensifying its bombing campaign. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, in his address to his nation, in which he outlined his reasons for accepting a ceasefire agreement with Hezbollah, said that the war will not be over until Israel eliminates Hamas. And as many military experts have said in the past, eliminating Hamas in itself is a virtually impossible task, so that you will have some insurgent warfare taking place across the besieged strip. And so therefore, if Israel's stated goal is the elimination of Hamas, then it's difficult to see how a war or a ceasefire can be achieved in the less than 2 months that President Biden has left in office. But as you mentioned, Steve, the big question will be what happens when the Trump administration takes over. Will they push the Israeli prime minister to accept some sort of deal that will lead to a cessation of hostilities so that President Trump, when he does take office, the future President Trump, will not have a war sort of ongoing just as he starts his new term in the White House?
A lot of changes on the way on that front as well. Hala and Mike, thanks so much. And there is much more to come on Morning News Now. Later this hour, a reminder from researchers, don't sleep on sleep. The new study that shows your sleep patterns could have a big impact on your heart health. Up first, after the break, promises made from mass deportations to hefty tariffs. More on how President-elect Trump is working to make his campaign promises a reality. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This morning, President-elect Donald Trump's transition team is one critical step closer to taking power in January. After a lengthy delay, Trump's transition team signed a memorandum of understanding with the Biden White House, which outlines a variety of ethics pledges for the incoming administration. Meanwhile, in a visit to Texas, Mr. Trump's border czar said he's ready to carry out the incoming administration's mass deportation plan.
Let me be clear. There is going to be a mass deportation because we just finished a mass illegal immigration crisis on the border.
All right, for more on this, let's bring in senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez. So, Gabe, there's been a lot of pushback to this plan, including at the local level. So could we see local and federal law enforcement maybe clash whenever this plan starts to come to fruition?
Well, Stephen, we'll just have to wait and see. But you just heard Trump's incoming border czar right there, Tom Homan. He had a stark warning. He said, don't test us. And this comes after the Los Angeles City Council had passed an ordinance recently prohibiting the use of local resources to help enforce federal immigration law. And also, Denver's Democratic mayor faced some backlash for suggesting that he might use local police, post them up at the county line to prevent federal immigration officers from doing their job. He has since walked that back, but it's possible that the incoming Trump administration, as they've threatened to do before, could once again threaten to withhold some federal grants, federal funds from local jurisdictions that are so-called sanctuary cities, Stephen.
And there's more on that Mexico front as well. Tariffs also with China and Canada that the president-elect's team is planning and speaking a lot about. Do we know how those countries are responding to this, Gabe?
That's right. Well, you see it right there, Stephen. 10% added tariff on China, 25% on anything imported from Mexico and Canada. Yes, we're starting to hear from some of these countries. Chinese state media is warning against what it calls a mutually destructive trade war. We heard from Canada's prime minister, who said that he has spoken with President-elect Trump, although he hasn't gotten specifics. And Mexico's president has also previewed potentially retaliatory tariffs if President-elect Trump follows through.
Yeah, a very strong letter from the president of Mexico in response to that. Gabe, also wanted to ask you about President-elect Trump's pick, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, who opposed lockdowns. He's now proposed to be the head of the National Institutes of Health. What else should we know about him?
Well, he had opposed COVID lockdowns as well as vaccine mandates. And then also at one point, he had promoted the idea of herd immunity. Now, Stephen, it is just another reminder that, the COVID pandemic still looms large in the politics of public health, Stephen.
Still does. All right. Gabe Gutierrez, thanks so much. Well, coming up, another promising side effect of popular weight loss drugs. When we come back, the new research that shows the meds could help patients drink less alcohol. Also, still to come, talk about a big honor. We'll take you to Mexico, where a small family restaurant that started in their front yard is now getting international attention. This is Morning News Now. We're back now with our weekly medical checkup, and we're starting off this week with more research on how those popular weight loss drugs could also help people cut back on drinking. Plus, this morning, why a good workout could help you live longer, no matter your age. NBC News medical contributor Dr. Vin Gupta joins us to discuss these latest health headlines. So, Dr. Gupta, good morning to you. We've reported on how researchers across the country are looking at medications, Wegovy and Zepbound, as potential treatments for addiction. And now there's this new study in the JAMA network that found many average drinkers are consuming less alcohol while they're on these drugs. So is there any idea what is causing that side effect and just how common it is?
Yes, Steve, we're seeing much more in the way of evidence that these weight loss drugs are somehow inhibiting addiction behavior, whether it's to alcohol, whether it's to shopping, frankly. And what we think is happening is it's actually impacting our reward center in our brain, the hippocampus, and what's really driving these types of behaviors. So while medication can help, it does not solve all problems relative to, in this case, excessive drinking, but it does appear that it is actually reducing the amount of drinking for those that tend to drink, 4 or more drinks in a day. So those that are the heaviest drinkers tend to intake the less, at least in these earliest studies, which is promising.
Fascinating stuff. The next study we're looking at, also fascinating. It concerns sleep, something very near and dear to the hearts of our team. Research published in the Journal of Epidemiology and Community Health found that irregular sleep patterns may affect heart health. In what ways could poor sleep actually do that? And should that be enough for some of us to maybe change our sleep habits?
Yeah, Steve, it's not entirely clear from the study why irregularity. So let's say you're still getting the 8 hours of sleep every single night, but you're just changing the hours in which you're actually having that sleep. So irregular sleep cycles, waking up in the middle of the night, for whatever reason, it seems like it's impacting, to your point, the risk of, say, heart attacks. And so duration of sleep is less important than regularity in this case, which is surprising to some. What might be happening is just increase in inflammation in the body, increase in stress hormone levels like cortisol, which can ultimately impact heart health, impact the stress that the heart is experiencing. That's one hypothesis. But frankly, the mechanism is not entirely clear, but it does lead credence to this notion that circadian rhythms matter and regularity matters.
Consistency is key. And finally, doctor, let's look at the JAMA study showing how being physically active helps you live longer at any age. What are the details there, and just how active do you need to be?
It's about 150 minutes per week is the idea. And so really 25 to 30 minutes if you can do it at least 5 days a week. And what they noticed was that the greatest benefit is in older individuals, those 70 and older, that if you attain this level of activity, Stephen, you live longer. And I don't think this should surprise us. We always talk about healthy living, including healthy eating, but especially activity. And so any type of aerobic activity is key. So make sustainable plans, get moving is really the bottom line, and that this finding applies to all demographics, but especially those that might be older.
All right. Dr. Vin Gupta, thanks so much for helping us break that down this morning. Well, as America gets ready for all the family traditions that surround Thanksgiving, this next story is about how Tex-Mex comfort food brought one family success and international acclaim. I love this one. This family started selling home-cooked food in their front yard to raise extra money for medical expenses. Now their recently opened restaurant is being listed in the Michelin Guide. NBC News correspondent Jay Gray went to Fort Worth to find out more about the Cortez family's journey.
Inside this modest Fort Worth restaurant, customers and now critics say the Cortez family makes some of the best beef birria dishes, tacos, tortas, quesadillas in the world.
It's all good. It's really good.
5 years ago, Rogelio Cortez Jr. was working as a commercial roofer and says the only time he thought about a restaurant is when he was hungry, never considering he and his family might own one.
Never in a million years I would imagine this. We're here now talking to you. This is just crazy. It's a dream.
The son of Mexican immigrants, he calls it the American dream, born from personal tragedy. After a back injury, left him without a job and in need of surgery.
My legs were going numb already. I was having trouble to walk already.
With just $1,000 left in his savings, searching for a way to make ends meet, he started selling his mom's menudo, a traditional Mexican soup, from their driveway on weekends, adding tacos and a couple of tables in a few weeks as lines started to stretch through his neighborhood. With the crowds growing, his dad, Rogelio Sr., emptied his 401k, all the money he had saved to retire from his job as a welder, buying this food truck, where even through the pandemic, the business continued to grow.
3 months later, thanks to God, I was able to get my surgery after I opened the food truck.
And repay his dad's initial investment. Then, just over 2 years after selling tacos from his driveway, Rogelio and his family opened a brick-and-mortar restaurant, Birria y Taqueria Cortez.
Yeah, some more sleepless nights. So we come from, my dad was a welder, I was a roofer, so we had zero restaurant experience.
What they clearly do know is how to make delicious food.
It's just really good. I mean, I could sit here and eat so much of this.
The Cortez's restaurant quickly became a go-to for families, followed by foodies, and then Michelin came calling, though Rogelio didn't immediately answer.
Did you know anything about Michelin? Have you known anything about Michelin?
Not until about 3 days before the ceremony. That's when I learned about Michelin.
A customer told him the holy grail of restaurants was considering adding his taqueria to its first ever Texas guide.
So I go on my emails and type in Michelin, and there you go. Since September, they were emailing me, and I didn't even see them. So I was just like, no, I thought it was just spam.
He scrambled to get all the necessary paperwork filed, fearing it was already too late, then nervously watched online as the results were announced.
Cortez, Fort Worth.
His restaurant given a Michelin recommended rating.
So I still can't explain. I'm still, man, it's really a 1 in a million. I couldn't believe it.
1 in a million. Kind of like starting with 10 pounds of taco meat in your driveway to selling 6,000 tacos a day in one of the world's best restaurants. Jay Gray, NBC News, Fort Worth.
Such a great story, Jay. Thanks. Well, coming up. That is right. It is almost time for the turkey, but that doesn't mean you have to overindulge. We'll share some tips and tricks on how to make your turkey dinner a little bit healthier this Thanksgiving. Stay with us. You're watching Morning News Now. We're back now with some money news. Many Starbucks workers are getting their yearly bonus cut by almost half. CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and other news this morning. Good morning, Silvana.
Hey, Stephen. Good morning to you. Yeah. So many of Starbucks corporate employees are only getting 60% of their bonus after the coffee chain suffered its worst financial performance since 2020. Now, Bloomberg reports that the weak results are dragging down the overall payout for workers who met their personal goals. Bonuses are largely calculated based on individual performance and business results. Starbucks revenue grew less than 1% in the past year, reflecting the sales woes the company has experienced as customers cut back spending on high-priced lattes and other menu items. Porsche isn't quite ready to swap the gas cap for a charging port. The German automaker reportedly plans to roll out more gas-powered models because of an industry-wide slowdown in sales of electric vehicles. Now, Porsche sells two high-end EVs, the Taycan and Macan. It had planned to introduce more fully electric models, but it may now make a hybrid version of those cars. And lost and found. A collection of nearly 40 gold coins with an estimated value of more than $1 million has been recovered after being stolen from a famous shipwreck off the coast of Florida by a salvage crew in 2015. The coins were aboard the 18th century Spanish treasure fleet that sunk during a hurricane in 1715. Now, the wreck gave Florida's Treasure Coast its name, and authorities say the suspect is facing charges of dealing in stolen property, and the coins will be returned to their rightful owner, Stephen.
Wow, that last story. Did not expect it.
No.
Silvana, bringing something new every day. We appreciate it.
You got it.
Thanks so much. Well, more money news now. Let's get to some big holiday season stats. NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Chung has been tracking all of the data around Thanksgiving, from how much dinner will cost this year to which side dish people are most excited for. Here's Brian with Thanksgiving by the numbers.
Hey there, well, happy almost Thanksgiving to you. I've got a number of stats to ring in this Thursday's big meal, starting off with how much that meal is going to cost. $58 is the average cost of a meal for 10 this year, according to the American Farm Bureau. And before people say, wait a minute, how could it be that cheap? Let me walk you through what their calculus is. $25.67 is the cost of a 16-pound turkey, which they say is down 6% from this time last year. Now, that factors into a meal that they say will only include about a few vegetables, 10 dinner rolls, a pie, no alcohol. So that's the reason why that might be a little bit lower than perhaps you might be spending for this holiday. But broadly speaking, again, it's cheaper than this time last year, which is certainly a welcome news by about 5%. Now, when it comes to travel, a 91% increase in airfare for the Thanksgiving weekend. It's extremely expensive to travel for this weekend. That's why a lot of people are traveling by car, 71 million, according to AAA. Now, some other stats for you as well when it comes to just preferences. 56% of people, they prefer side dishes to turkey. They say, you know what, I'm all right with that meat. Al Roker says it's a vessel for the gravy, which I agree with. 82 million cans of cranberry sauce were sold by Ocean Spray, which, by the way, if you line them all the way up, you can get from Boston to Salt Lake City. Super cool stat there. 45 states prefer stuffing as their favorite side dish. The other 5 states say mashed potatoes. Fun fact there. And then 57% prefer pumpkin pie to apple pie. The majority is wrong in that case. Apple pie, in my opinion, certainly better. Now, some other stats here. 23% say Thanksgiving is their favorite day of the year. 36% say Christmas, which makes Thanksgiving the second most cited favorite day of the year. 34 million people will watch football. 1 million people will run a turkey trot just to burn off those calories in the aftermath of the dinner. And 45% will attend a Friendsgiving, especially those that aren't able to travel. And some final stats here I'll just kind of wrap up with. 98 years of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, iconic here in New York City. By the way, we have that over here on NBC and on Peacock. 60 feet will be the height of the tallest balloon. That is Minnie Mouse. There will be 32 balloons and 22 floats with 200 pounds of confetti falling onto the parade route, which, by the way, is 2.5 miles. But the final stat that I'll leave you with, 165 degrees. That's the temperature to cook your turkey. Back to you.
Important numbers, Brian. Thanks. Well, it probably goes without saying that the main attraction on Thanksgiving, as we just heard from Brian, is the food. And for many of us, it's the only time we really sit down to enjoy things like a whole roasted turkey, stuffing, pumpkin pie, and fall into that famous food coma that follows. We often indulge during the holidays, only to end up pledging to lose any additional pounds we may have put on in the new year. But there are apparently ways to enjoy a Thanksgiving feast without the guilt, and it might be even easier than you think. Let's bring in child and family dietitian Ali Bandir for some advice on how we can make healthier choices this Thanksgiving. Ali, thanks for being here. So what are the main tips to keep in mind when we're loading up those Thanksgiving plates tomorrow?
Try to balance your plate. Focus on a mix of protein, fat, and fiber, and a smaller portion of your favorite treat. You also want to stay hydrated. Drink water so you don't mistake thirst for hunger. Another tip is to savor and not stop. So when you're eating, put your fork down between your bites and focus on conversation, on your company. And lastly, avoid arriving starving. So eat a healthy snack before you get there, so when you get there, you don't just overeat immediately.
Wow, that last tip really is completely putting my plans asunder, because I really just like to show up starving and then eat all the nice food. Okay, I like that. Ali, thank you for that. And at this point, of course, it's not too late to make some tweaks maybe to those recipes that we're putting together. Can you tell us any maybe small changes that can help take out the excessive calories in those meals?
I love swaps because you reduce calories with very little effort. For example, swap heavy buttered mashed potatoes for cauliflower mash or roasted sweet potatoes. For dessert, you could reduce the amount of added sugar in a recipe. You could choose dark chocolate-based desserts, or you could replace white flour with whole wheat or almond flour. For flavoring your food, instead of using cream, you could use herbs and spices. For dressings, I like making homemade dressings because store-bought ones often have excess sodium, which can make you feel bloated and unwell.
All right, some good advice there. Let's talk about comfort food. There's a lot of stress surrounding the holidays. A lot of people deal with that stress with emotional eating. Do you have any tips that could help us maybe account for that?
This is tough. So first step is to try to recognize emotional eating. Ask yourself, am I hungry or am I just stressed? Before you get to wherever you're having your holiday feast, try to create a self-care plan. If you're traveling, try to prioritize sleep, meditation, or quick walks. At the meal, Try to trade comfort foods for mood-boosting options like dark chocolate or herbal teas. There are also many holiday traditions that you could focus on, like decorating or playing games, so the entire focus is not just on the food.
Ooh, I like that. A lot of good advice there. Well, let's say someone does happen to get a little carried away on Thanksgiving. What should we do after we maybe overindulge?
First thing is to avoid the guilt. Don't dwell on it, just move on. Try to reset both your body and mind. The next day, you want to drink plenty of water, you want to have a balanced breakfast, and move your body. Take a walk, do some yoga. This will help your digestion.
Some good advice there. Some Black Friday light yoga. I love that. Allie, thanks so much for your time and your tips this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Well, coming up, the beat goes on. When we return, we'll introduce you to a university marching band that is not letting a hurricane rain on their Thanksgiving Day parade. This is Morning News Now. We're back now with a story about a university marching band that won't let anything stop them from making it to America's biggest Thanksgiving Day parade, not even a hurricane. Morning News Now anchor Joe Fryer has more on their emotional journey.
The band at Eastern Tennessee State University is marching forward toward the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
We're so excited. We're over the moon.
Their thunderous sound drowning out the noise of a life-changing storm.
I went through the heartache of seeing my what I called home completely destroyed.
When Hurricane Helene's floodwaters rushed in, Ashlyn Meadows was home with her family.
We're still dealing with it almost 2 months later, but we're getting through it.
Aaron Fergoso says his cousin, a law enforcement officer, was trapped on the roof of a hospital as the waters rose.
And he, along with a team of other individuals, helped to rescue patients, workers, and the rescue teams that were on top of the building.
In the aftermath, Itzel Akvaranga couldn't even reach her family in North Carolina.
All that went through my mind during that time period was, did they survive?
A few days passed before she finally made contact.
Luckily, everyone was okay.
That's looking good.
But the band and its director were faced with a serious question.
Was there a moment when you thought, I don't know if we can go to New York?
Yes, but the kids are troopers, and they have dug in and worked hard.
We're a strong and resilient community, and we're coming back up on our feet.
Does it feel like there's more to be thankful for?
You really see all of the things in life that matter when all of your things are gone.
A lesson for all of us on this Thanksgiving. Joe Fryer, NBC News, Johnson City, Tennessee.
Some great life lessons. Joe, thanks. And that's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. But your news continues right now. Good morning. I'm Stephen Romo in for Joe and Savannah today. And right now on Morning News Now, it's a holiday hop like no other, with millions of Americans heading to destinations across the country with less than 24 hours till Thanksgiving. How the big airlines are working to make sure your trip is as turbulence-free as possible, even in the face of Mother Nature. Our Angie Lastman has your full weekend forecast in just a moment. Also this morning, a historic ceasefire deal bringing hopes for an end to violence on Israel's border with Lebanon for now. Thousands of displaced residents finally returning to their homes in southern Lebanon this morning as the agreement appears to be holding. But what does this deal mean between Israel and Hezbollah for the future of the conflict in the Middle East? Plus, some promising money news this morning as we head into the busy holiday shopping season. Americans are actually feeling better about the economy than they have in years. But how does inflation play into this, and how might consumers spend this year? We'll dig into those numbers. And forget that dash to your door and get ready for some fries in the sky. Later this hour, groundbreaking fast food delivery tech that's bringing your order to new heights. But we begin this morning with the coast-to-coast holiday travel rush. A winter weather system is making its way across the U.S., threatening rain and snow as a record number of travelers head out to their Thanksgiving destinations. Experts warn it could make for some dicey driving conditions for the 72 million Americans expected to hit the road. As for airports, NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello is keeping an eye on the situation at major hubs across the U.S.
Hey, Stephen, good morning. And the rush is on here at Reagan National and at airports nationwide. Here's the good news. So far, we've got really minimal delays, minimal cancellations nationwide. The FAA has opened up military airspace along the East Coast and the Gulf of Mexico, and also halted rocket launches in Florida to keep things moving on this record-breaking travel day. From Seattle to Sarasota, Boston to the Bay Area.
Wind shear ahead.
The nation's airlines have spent months prepping for this week, this day.
We're like 3 hours early just to avoid any headache.
Nearly 3 million TSA passenger screenings, 50,000 flights in the air. And a coast-to-coast storm is threatening to disrupt one of the busiest Thanksgiving travel periods on record, with heavy snow, Arctic temperatures, and heavy rain expected. The extreme weather potentially adding to the travel crush and already leading to delays and crowded airports on the East Coast and the West. At United's Op Center near Chicago, they monitor every weather system, every flight worldwide. You're trying to stay ahead of the storm and even ahead of the Weather Channel, right?
Yeah, several days ahead if we can.
The latest storm predictions fed directly to the captain's iPad in the cockpit.
Anytime visibility starts going down, ceiling starts going down, you'll most likely see a delay.
It's not just weather that will impact flights. Today, it's also the ongoing air traffic control staffing shortages at Newark Airport, a critical United hub. United says 28,000 of its Newark customers are being disrupted every day. The problems leading to a ground stop lasting past midnight. While the FAA is training new controllers, it'll take years to fully staff up nationwide. For its part, United is now using AI to read all of its flight data, then quickly reaching out to customers with flight updates.
It is ingesting our flight notes to make sure that we understand the reason for the delay, and then that is then sending to a customer via text and email.
Including weather radar images, so customers can see for themselves what's behind a delay and make their own choices. If my flight is canceled, am I better off letting you rebook me, or should I get on my app and do it myself?
Our app is absolutely the path you should take to rebook yourself.
So back here at Reagan National, we're expecting a total nationwide of 3 million plus passengers on Sunday. That will be the busiest of this entire stretch. And the question's going to be what kind of residual weather effect we're dealing with on Sunday. And as you know, the best time to leave is going to be very early in the morning or late at night. Leaving in the midday is going to be a real challenge, especially on Sunday. Back to you.
All right, good advice. Tom Costello, thanks. Now let's bring in NBC News correspondent Sam Brock. He's live at a rest stop near the New Jersey Turnpike. Sam, good morning to you. So we know a record number of drivers are also expected to hit the road this week. What's it like out there so far this morning? And do we know which cities could see the worst traffic?
Sure, Stephen. No one told the New Jersey drivers right now how bad this is going to get later, because right now it actually is pretty thin at the moment. Expect that to change. If there's a consistent theme in all of this, it's record levels of volume. 71.7 million drivers, or I should say people, are expected to hit the roadways for the Thanksgiving Day holiday. Stephen, that's more than 1 million from what the projection was a year ago, higher than pre-pandemic as well. So it's just an all-time figure. And as far as some of the biggest cities that may be impacted across the country, really on both coasts, you're looking at double the normal traffic flow for cities like New York, D.C. and Boston on the East Coast. If you look over to the West Coast, Seattle, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. So really across the entire United States. Some good news in all this are the gas prices, $3.25 a gallon. That was the national average a year ago. But this time now it's $3.07 a gallon, so a bit of a dip there. Even if it's more expensive in higher cost states like New York and California, still a better bargain than what you were looking at for last year's Thanksgiving. So at least we'll take some silver lining, Stephen, in that.
Yeah, we'll certainly take that good news. And far more people drive than actually fly. We talk a lot about airports, but a lot of people are getting behind the wheel for this. So, Sam, do we know anything about the logistics? When is actually the best time for people to hit the road?
Okay, so this is a very busy travel day. You want to leave before 10 o'clock in the morning. Then the worst possible time to get in the car and go is 1 to 5 o'clock this afternoon. Please keep that in mind if you and your families are planning out what you're going to do later today. Hopefully you've already figured it out. Minimal traffic on Thanksgiving Day. That is to be expected. And then the worst time to return is going to be that rush on Friday morning, Black Friday, between 7 and 10 a.m. As the day wears on later on in the afternoon into the evening, it'll be more hospitable for drivers out here on the highways. Stephen?
More reason to sleep in and just wait it out on Black Friday. And Sam, before you go, what are some steps people can take to make sure they're prepared for these road trips, especially if they have a long journey ahead of them? My suggestion is always snacks.
Oh, snacks, 100%. Here's the thing. I love sugar. We may be in the same boat on that one. Sugar is a short-term fix. What you really need is protein. So forget about the chocolate for a second, or at least put it into the protein bars and trail mix beef jerky. That's good food that'll give you fuel for that trip. Also, check your tire pressure. Many folks may not realize this. For every 10 degrees of drop in the air temperature, that's about a 1 psi drop in your tire because the air condenses. Make sure that your oil is filled up. Batteries in good shape. Those are the most common issues that tend to crop up on road trips. We talked about the snacks, and then stay alert. Chewing gum apparently helps. Sitting up straight, if you can do that, and switching drivers every few hours. Try to plan your trip so you have at least a few stops along the way. Stephen.
Who knew? My dad was right about checking that tire pressure. I always thought it was just something he said. All right. Sam Brock, thanks so much.
Dads always know best.
That's right. All right, let's check for the Morning News Now forecast for Turkey Day with meteorologist Angie Lastman. How's it going, Angie?
Hi there, Stephen. We've got a couple of spots to keep in mind when it comes to weather and potential delays on the roads and air travel. But we've also got some good news. So let's cover it all. A little bit of rain working across parts of the Midwest right now. St. Louis seeing some of those showers. But notice the snow falling across the Rockies. Denver stretching out to Wichita. You're dealing with some wet roads across I-80. That'll be something that we likely see through the rest of the morning hours as this next system is continuing to be on the move. This is that coast-to-coast storm system that we've been watching since yesterday. As we get into the second half today, notice this rain intensifying over parts of the Midwest. We've got Nashville, Indianapolis, St. Louis, Lexington, all kind of in the bullseye of the heaviest of that rain. But we'll start to see it working into parts of Pennsylvania and up towards the Great Lakes as well. This is the second half of the day. And by that time, the snow will have wrapped up across parts of the Rockies, and you'll be looking at some improvements there. But between now and then, of course, delays likely for Denver as that snow continues to fall, especially for the first half of the day, and then the airport kind of recovers there. Kansas City, St. Louis, Nashville all have the potential to see some of those wet roads and difficulty when it comes to the skies across that region. Those same spots that I mentioned, I-70, I-64, and even I-75 across the Midwest could likely see some of the slower goes with the rain moving across that region. Meanwhile, as we get into tomorrow, not the news that you want across the east if you have anywhere to go, if you have any outdoor plans. We've got rain, snow, and the potential for some strong winds to work through that region. So that same storm system, it arrives bringing snow across parts of the Great Lakes and New England. We've got the heavy rain from the Midwest to the East Coast. So a little bit of a soggy kind of day for us. This, of course, going to impact the roads a lot. We've got I-95 likely wet. We've got I-87, I-80. We could see the potential for, again, those slick conditions anywhere from Virginia really to Maine, and stretching down into the southeast. We'll still be dealing with the potential for some of those wet roads. And on top of that, the gusty winds. So not an ideal kind of forecast for the east. And unfortunately, that means Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is going to be a little soggy. This is not the news I want to give you, but prepare for it. The ponchos are going to be needed. The steady rain will be out there. The good news is winds aren't all that impressive there. I mean, 10 miles per hour. But this, of course, is really important when it comes to the floats and the balloons, especially temperature-wise, mid to upper 40s if you're planning on heading out there. If not, of course, you can watch it on NBC. So Friday, as we finish out our holiday and maybe head back to wherever you're coming from, lake effect snow across the Great Lakes. But otherwise, mostly good news. Notice the sunny skies across the south. We've got plenty of sunshine for the west, so not a whole lot in the way of airport delays. Detroit would be one spot that I would watch, and potentially Chicago. And it's going to be the same for the roads around that region. And that's just kind of the rinse and repeat forecast that we have through the rest of the weekend. Notice the snow will still be piling up along the Great Lakes. But one other thing to note that'll be a little bit of a change up. Temperatures really are going to see the bottom drop out across parts of the plains. Minneapolis, Saturday, your high temperature, just 19 degrees. We do see cool air filtering down to the southeast too, 50 degrees only for the high in Atlanta on Saturday. And then we see a couple of spots where we could potentially see some of those delays again. But Stephen, guess what? That lake effect snow is going to continue through the weekend, not just Saturday, but into Sunday as well. So those will be the areas that we'll want to closely watch. Otherwise, rest of the country, bundle up.
Bundle up, grab a poncho if you're going to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
That is my advice. I will be watching from this building right here out the window to avoid
That's the way to do it. A smart lady there. Angie Lastman, thanks so much.
Of course.
All right, turning now to President-elect Donald Trump's transition team and their plans. Trump's new border czar is touting the incoming administration's plan for mass deportations as some state and local officials are signaling they will push back. We're learning more about Mr. Trump's plan to impose new tariffs on imported goods as well, which is sparking fear of a possible trade war. NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez has more on this. Gabe, good morning.
Hi, Stephen. Good morning. President-elect Trump's transition team just agreed to a memorandum of understanding with the Biden White House, allowing the two sides to formally begin the transition of power. 3 Trump allies also tell NBC News the president-elect is expected to sign up to 5 executive orders aimed at dealing with immigration alone as soon as he's sworn in. While touring Texas, President-elect Trump's new border czar with a warning for anyone planning to stand in the way of the incoming administration's mass deportation plan.
Don't cross that line. It's a felony to knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from immigration authorities.
It comes as the L.A. City Council just adopted a sanctuary city ordinance that prohibits the use of local resources for immigration enforcement. Denver's Democratic mayor threatened to post local police at the county line to block federal immigration officers before backtracking.
We have no plan to do that, and we really hope that we don't ever have to do that.
A major question now, how Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, will get the manpower to carry out more deportations.
Do you believe that local authorities should help enforce federal immigration laws?
Oh, absolutely. I think we have to.
The sheriff's office in Harford County, Maryland, is one of dozens of agencies across 21 states that are part of an ICE program that allows the feds to delegate specialized immigration functions to state and local law enforcement inside jails. There's also new fallout from a brewing trade war. The president-elect planning a 10% added tariff on China and 25% tariffs on anything imported from Mexico and Canada. Trump suggesting the plan is designed to punish those countries for the dangerous drug fentanyl entering the U.S., which they dispute. But because tariffs are a tax on what other countries send here and U.S. companies pay that cost, many economists warn that American consumers will be stuck with the bill. So what could get more expensive? More than $1.3 trillion worth of goods came from all 3 countries last year, including everything from fresh produce to cars and electronics. Mexico's president is now previewing possible retaliatory tariffs if the president-elect follows through, while Canada's prime minister says he's spoken with Trump.
We talked about some of the challenges that we can work on together.
Chinese state media is warning against what it calls a mutually destructive tariff war. Trump's proposal could also blow up the trade agreement he himself helped negotiate with Canada and Mexico in his first term. And it could be challenged in court, Stephen.
A lot of moving pieces. All right, Gabe, thanks so much. Well, in the Middle East this morning, thousands of the Lebanese are heading home to southern Lebanon after a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah went into effect overnight. A deal was agreed to yesterday to end the near 14-month conflict, which was sparked by the war in Gaza. Israel's bombing campaign in Lebanon killed thousands and displaced more than 1 million people. In northern Israel, more than 100 were killed and 60,000 people had to evacuate their homes. NBC News chief international correspondent Keir Simmons joins us now with the latest. Keir.
Hey there, good morning. This ceasefire does appear to be holding. It is getting praise from US allies and from Iran, but there are critics too, including Israeli families who live along the border in the north and say so far they don't feel safe to return home. At 4 a.m. in Lebanon, guns were being fired, but this time in celebration, as a ceasefire finally took hold. Later, lines of cars stacked with mattresses returned to southern Lebanon. Families who had fled the violence finally able to go home.
Peace is possible.
President Biden with welcome news ahead of Thanksgiving, after thousands displaced on both sides of the border amid the deadliest war in decades.
This is designed to be a permanent cessation of hostilities.
While overnight, an Israeli strike in Syria near a border crossing with Lebanon, underscoring Prime Minister Netanyahu's vow not to let Hezbollah rearm. Netanyahu saying last night, if Hezbollah violates the agreement and tries to rearm itself, we will attack. But the vote in favor of a ceasefire by the Israeli cabinet being called a serious mistake by right-wing members of the government. Israel will withdraw from Lebanon over 60 days, replaced by UN peacekeepers and the Lebanese National Army, who failed to prevent Hezbollah firing rockets in the past, while Hezbollah would retreat north of the Litani River. A coalition of countries will monitor the ceasefire, including France, but no US forces on the ground. It will be a fragile truce. Netanyahu warning the duration of the ceasefire depends on what happens in Lebanon. An Israeli offensive that saw bombs in pages, the assassination of Hezbollah's leader Hassan Nasrallah, and thousands dead. Israel still finding targets on the last day in Beirut and in the south, with Hezbollah firing rockets across the border. And in the south, news this morning of fresh strikes in Gaza, where around 100 hostages, including Americans, are still held by Hamas. That war is not over. And for those hostages, Stephen, who are now, of course, will be away from loved ones for another Thanksgiving, Prime Minister Netanyahu saying that he hopes this deal will put pressure on Hamas and lead to potentially a wider peace deal and the release of the hostages. President Biden vowing to spend the coming weeks working on exactly that, Stephen.
Less than 60 days left of Biden's term here. All right, Keir Simmons, thanks so much for that update. Well, much more to come this hour of Morning News Now, including why more and more Americans are feeling better about the economy ahead of the critical holiday shopping season. But first, after the break, an Arizona amusement park turned horror show after a man was seen climbing out of a roller coaster just moments before the drop. The safety issue behind that scary scene coming up next. Welcome back. Now to a terrifying incident at an amusement park in Arizona. A man was seen climbing out of a roller coaster just moments before the ride was about to drop after a safety issue caused him to take action. NBC News correspondent Liz Croyds spoke to that man and joins us now with more on what happened. Some terrifying stuff here, Liz.
Hey, Stephen, good morning. Yeah, I mean, this is truly a nightmare scenario for anyone on a roller coaster. The man tells me right as they were nearing the top of the ride before the drop, he heard a click and realized his lap bar unlatched. He had moments to decide what to do, and he decided to climb out.
It's a shocking moment at an amusement park in Phoenix. This video showing a rider climbing out of a moving roller coaster just as it's about to drop.
It was a scary moment.
The person in the video, a man named Ricky, who didn't want to use his last name, but told us he was at the park with his family when they got on the double looping roller coaster called Desert Storm. He says the person operating it didn't check the lap bars to make sure they were fully secure before starting the ride. And he says as they were making their ascent, his unlatched.
We were right about to the top when that happened. So I had a split decision to either decide to stay on the roller coaster and hope I stay in or get out.
Ricky chose the latter, hopping out of his seat and onto a catwalk where he says he then climbed downstairs to safety.
You're lucky that you were able to think on your feet that quickly.
Yeah. I'm thankful that it was me, because if it was one of the 10 or 11-year-olds that were going through that, I don't know that they would have jumped out of a moving roller coaster to save themselves.
The incident happening at the Castles and Coasters amusement park, where 3 years ago, first responders had to help rescue 22 people who got stuck on that same ride. NBC News has reached out to the park for comment, but not heard back. Recently, there have been other roller coaster scares nationwide, including earlier this month at Knott's Berry Farm in Southern California, when a ride malfunctioned, leaving riders stranded mid-air for 2 hours. The park said they safely evacuated all the guests and are now investigating. As for Ricky, he says he hopes his close call helps bolster roller coaster safety.
Luckily, I'm here to tell my story, and the only thing that I can do is just try to spread awareness.
Now, Arizona does not have a state agency that regulates amusement parks, although state law does require annual inspections. Again, the park has not responded to Ricky's claims. He just says he's thankful to the stranger who happened to capture that video of him. He hopes it helps raise awareness. And as he said, also grateful it was him in that seat and not one of the children who were also on the ride at the time, Stephen.
Yeah, just incredible that he had the wherewithal to do that.
Totally.
Liz, thanks so much. All right, to some international headlines now. Developing overnight, Russia launched its biggest drone attack on Ukraine. Claudio Lavanga joins us now from Rome with that and more. Good morning, Claudio.
Good morning, Stephen. That's right. Authorities in Ukraine said that on Tuesday, Russia launched a record 188 drones at Ukraine, not only hitting apartment buildings, but also critical infrastructure facilities. And now Ukraine also said its air forces shot down 76 drones in 17 regions, while another 95 were either lost from their radars or downed by electronic jamming defensive systems. Among the targets was an energy infrastructure in the western city of Ternopil, which has disrupted electricity there and in surrounding towns. Let's move to Laos now, where, according to local media, 8 staff members of a hotel have been arrested after 6 foreign tourists died of suspected methanol poisoning. 2 Australian teenagers, 2 Danish women, a British woman, and an American man, all guests at a backpacker hotel, died last week after allegedly drinking 3 shots of alcohol offered by the hotel. The country's official news agency reported that the cause of death was the consumption of tainted alcoholic beverage. Talking about hotels, take a look at the shape of this one. It's in the Philippines, and it has recently been awarded the title of the largest building shaped like a chicken by the Guinness World of Records. Well, its owners must have gotten quite cocky about that. Well, the hotel has 15 rooms, but no windows, because they allegedly will ruin the effect of the chicken's feathers. Well, I suppose the guests will feel a bit cooped up in there, Stephen, but hey, that goes along with the theme of the hotel, I suppose.
There's so many joke options there, Claudio. I admire your restraint. And I'd like to know what the runner-up is for that, the second largest chicken-shaped building. We'll have to look into that. You never know what we're going to get with that last story with you, Claudio. We appreciate it. Exactly. All right, coming up, the harrowing holiday headline of how the Grinch stole your car. After the break, what you need to know about a rash of auto thefts plaguing airports nationwide this season. We've got the latest on that coming up next. We're back now with a warning for the millions of travelers heading to the airport this week for the holiday. Authorities are sounding the alarm on a recent trend of thieves on the prowl at parking garages and lots at major airports across the country. Here's NBC News correspondent Emily Ikeda at Newark Airport with what you need to know.
Hey there. Well, many travelers are most concerned about making it through the airport doors and to their Thanksgiving travel destination on time. But this morning, there's growing worries over what they may or may not return to, as a rash of car thefts at major airports across the country has officials concerned and empty-handed drivers distraught.
As the Thanksgiving travel rush kicks into high gear, authorities are warning travelers who are leaving their vehicles behind at airports nationwide to take extra precautions.
It's extremely easy to steal a car.
At the world's busiest airport in Atlanta, police are using motorcycle patrols, added cameras, and new fencing to deter crime across its 30,000 parking spaces after more than 300 cars were stolen there this year, over 3 times as many as last year.
Suspects can program key fobs to vehicles, and that has gotten us here where we are now.
Reprogrammed key fobs are not just an issue in Atlanta. More than 50 vehicles were stolen at the airport in Dallas-Fort Worth. Police say a car theft ring targeted airports across multiple states, with authorities arresting the alleged ringleader last month.
Thieves of all kinds and criminals target people at a higher volume during the holidays.
In the New York City area, Port Authority's Chief Security Officer Greg Erie calling the thefts an increasingly lucrative organized crime issue.
They're doing it for the increasingly high resale value on these vehicles and the fact that they can get them out of the country and sell them overseas.
Returning from a work trip last month, Katie and her husband were devastated to find their car missing at the Columbus International Airport.
In complete disbelief that
we parked attached to an airport and came out and our car was gone. We just assumed it was more safe and secure in that type of an environment.
Police later found it abandoned and completely stripped.
I'm hoping that the airports will beef up their security so that, we can travel and come back and have your car there.
So what can you do to protect your car?
I have an alarm on my car. I just make sure it's locked and I bring my keys with me.
On top of that, experts say make sure to park in well-lit areas and consider additional security measures like a tracking system or a steering wheel lock to steer clear of any unwanted surprises this holiday season.
And it's not just luxury brands that thieves are targeting. If you look at data from last year, Hyundai and Kia models experienced the highest theft rates, with Hyundai Elantra and Sonata along with the Kia Optima ranked as the top 3 most stolen cars. Back to you.
Good advice there, Emily. Thanks. Well, the lyrical battle between rappers Drake and Kendrick Lamar was one of the big music stories of the year, and now it might be moving from the studio to the courtroom. Drake is taking legal action against Spotify and his own music label, accusing them of using manipulative tactics to make his rival's diss track, Not Like Us, go viral. Here's NBC News national correspondent Yasmin Vasugian with more.
It's the years-long beef that's shaken up the hip-hop world. Now Drake taking his rap battle with Kendrick Lamar from the airwaves
they hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen,
to court, filing 2 pre-lawsuit petitions against not Lamar himself, but Universal Music Group, where both artists are signed. The latest filing, Drake alleges defamation over Lamar's song, Not Like Us.
Say, Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1.
Where Kendrick Lamar seemingly accuses Drake of pedophilia.
Certified lover boy, certified pedophiles.
Drake snapping back, not with another diss track, but saying in the filing that UMG could have stopped the release of that song, quote, falsely accusing him of being a sex offender. Lamar has previously denied Drake's accusations. All of the allegations in both men's songs unsubstantiated. In the initial petition, Drake's attorneys allege that UMG and Spotify, quote, conspired to artificially inflate the popularity of Not Like Us by using bots, undisclosed pay-to-play practices, and other tactics. Lamar's hit song was released in May, reaching #1 and spending several months on the Billboard Top 100 list. It has 900 million streams on Spotify. The streaming giant declined to comment. In a statement, UMG says in part this: we employ the highest ethical practices in our marketing and promotional campaigns. No amount of contrived and absurd legal arguments in this pre-action submission can mask the fact that fans choose the music they want to hear. Kendrick Lamar's team didn't immediately respond to our request for comment. We are a long way away from 2011, when Lamar appeared on Drake's album.
Looking in the mirror, I'm embarrassed.
And when both artists collaborated on Poetic Justice.
I really hope you play this, because, oh girl, you test my patience.
But just 1 year later, their relationship took a hit on Control.
And that goes for Jamaica, Big Crit Wale, Pusha T, Meek Mills, A$AP Rocky, Drake.
And never recovered after that. Drake is alleging he suffered economic harm as a result of actions by UMG and Spotify. It could be Drake's way of exercising control now. Once seen as a top artist at UMG, he has since been eclipsed in the charts by his rap nemesis, Lamar, using the courts instead of lyrics to fight back. Yasmin Vasugian, NBC News.
Well, coming up this morning, some welcome news for your wallet on this day before Thanksgiving. Why American consumers are more confident in the economy than they have been in years, and what it all means for holiday spending. That's next on Morning News Now. We're back now with the debate over diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, policies at major companies. Walmart has announced it's planning to roll back on those initiatives, joining a growing number of businesses. As NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson explains, conservative activists argue these companies went too far with their policies.
Walmart joining a growing list of companies rolling back diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives amid growing pressure from conservative activists.
I am very proud to report to you guys that Walmart has decided on making some changes.
The largest retailer in the world confirming it will curb racial equity training for employees, no longer consider suppliers' race or gender to boost diversity, stop selling LGBTQ-themed items online that are marketed to children, including chest binders for youth going through a gender change. and end funding for its Racial Equity Center, a 5-year philanthropic effort launched after the police killing of George Floyd in 2020. Which sparked nationwide protests and a racial justice reckoning. Walmart, which employs roughly 1.6 million workers in the U.S., also ended its participation in the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index, following the same move by Ford, Harley-Davidson, Lowe's, and Molson Coors.
We will not stop until we have eliminated wokeness in corporate America.
The public push for change at Walmart, spearheaded by Robbie Starbuck, a former music video director turned conservative activist who leads what he calls an effort to eliminate wokeness.
I think this is a tremendous victory. Many have tried to get companies at this scale to change corporate policy, and it's ultimately a very, very difficult effort.
What do you think the implications of this are?
Big picture is actually very simple for me. I believe that companies need to sort of change the way that they operate around these issues to adopt a neutral approach where nobody with a specific set of political beliefs feels that the other side's political beliefs are being forced on them.
A spokesperson for Walmart confirms the company had conversations with Starbucks over the last week, but already had DEI-related changes underway. Walmart writing in a statement, "We've been on a journey and know we aren't perfect, but every decision comes from a place of wanting to foster a sense of belonging." Starbucks, who has more than 1 million followers on social media, has called on consumers to boycott several companies over their, quote, woke policies.
I got some Bud Lights for us.
A similar boycott of Bud Light last year after the company featured transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney in marketing tanked sales of the beer, with Anheuser-Busch reporting a 10.5% revenue decline in the months that followed.
Conservatives have organized in ways that progressive and liberals, frankly, just have not. They have organized in ways to attack DEI and to spread misinformation and disinformation about what DEI is and aims to do.
Sean Harper, a professor of business who has worked with hundreds of companies, says DEI initiatives are meant to be inclusive, not divisive. He says the undoing of those efforts shows some corporations failed to prioritize diversity in a meaningful way.
The fact that these efforts are so easily undone strongly signal to me that they were not as durable as they should have been in the first place, that the commitment to them, the corporate commitment, was not as strong as it should have been.
What message does this send to other retailers, to consumers? What are the far-reaching implications?
When companies abandon their commitment to DEI, especially a company as big as Walmart, it gives others permission to do so. It gives others permission to turn their backs on women, on veterans, on Americans with disabilities, on customers, clients, and employees who are racially and ethnically diverse.
Priscilla Thompson, NBC News.
More financial headlines now. The FCC has given the go-ahead to T-Mobile and SpaceX to launch a direct-to-cell service. CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and other money news. Good morning, Silvana.
Hey, Stephen, good morning to you. Yeah, the FCC gives SpaceX the green light to offer a direct-to-phone version of its Starlink satellite internet service with T-Mobile as a provider. Now, SpaceX, which is owned by Elon Musk, and T-Mobile first announced the plan in 2022, expecting the service to launch last year, but it's been held up until now pending regulatory approval. Now, it is still a big win for SpaceX, which will get its foot in the door in the U.S. market before the competition. Meanwhile, Hyundai is recalling more than 250,000 vehicles in the U.S. on concerns the rearview camera image may fail to display. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says the recall affects certain Santa Fe SUVs and Elantra sedans from the 2021 and 2022 model year. Hyundai dealers will replace the rearview camera free of charge. And Elon Musk is getting a lesson in how a national electric vehicle charging grid works from the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg. Now, Musk asking Buttigieg to respond to a post on X from Donald Trump Jr., quoting a Republican congressman who accuses the Biden administration of wasting billions of dollars to build very few charging stations. Buttigieg explaining that argument is false, saying individual states apply for grants from the federal government and they build the chargers, not the government. Musk capped off the thread of messages by saying this is helpful to understand, Stephen.
All right. A lot of interesting things happening on X. Silvana, thanks so much.
You got it.
Well, as we head into the holiday shopping season, newly released consumer data shows Americans are feeling better about the economy than they have in years. Data published Tuesday by the nonprofit The Conference Board shows the Consumer Confidence Index continuing to rise this month. It's up 2.1 points from October, which is a 2-year high. Investopedia editor-in-chief Caleb Silver joins me now with more on this. So, Caleb, thanks for being here. So which groups of Americans are the most confident right now, and what are the factors?
Yeah, most are, except those that have a very high income or a very low income. Present conditions right now are at an 8-month high, as you suggested. Future expectations are at a 3-year high. So somebody find Joe Cocker, because we're feeling all right. What's making us feel so good? The labor market. People feel confidence in their job. They feel confidence that they could get a job if they lost their job. And they feel like prices are subsiding finally. Inflation is not so much a factor. It could come up again, but right now they're feeling pretty good about it, and they've already started their holiday shopping way early.
Oh, I need to get on that, actually. Well, the report points out that people are now less worried about a recession coming in the next 12 months. So how big of an attitude shift is that?
That's a big deal, because if you feel like there's a recession on the horizon, or if you see your neighbor losing their job, or if you see that happening around you, you're going to get very tight with your money. But people have been spending. We know credit card debt is at a record high. It's not stopping, folks, because delinquencies aren't that high either. And don't forget the stock market. It is at a record high. We've had record high, about 55 of them so far this year. That produces the wealth effect. Even if you're not heavily invested, you feel like things are okay when you see those arrows pointing up and to the right. All of this contributing to the highest consumer confidence we've seen in months.
So how is all this together impacting the way people are spending money? Is it impacting the way they're spending their money?
Yeah, we've seen people pull back on the big ticket purchases. That's autos, that's homes, obviously. A lot of that has to do with interest rates. But people have been spending on some discretionary things. Travel has been very big. People want the experience. We've seen a lot of that happening. And if you look at the earnings reports from companies like Walmart, they're getting a higher income consumer in there that are spending more. Target, not so much. But you're seeing this kind of spreading out of people spending money in different places. Not big ticket stuff yet, because interest rates, again, very high, but they are willing to spend on the family experience. They're willing to spend on the discretionary items. Good news going into the holiday season. We know Black Friday kicks off this huge shopping spree, but as I said, it's already started.
Yep, it sure has. All right, Caleb Silver, thanks so much for breaking that down. All right, now let's head to Maryland, where one barber is working to inspire high school students one haircut at a time. Brianna Ross from our NBC affiliate in Baltimore shows us the new on-campus student-led barber and beauty salon.
Sitting in the barber's seat, ready for a new style. Jalen McDaniel is among the first group of students to get a new haircut at the new barbershop inside Arundel High School.
I never thought we would have a barbershop at school or any of the schools that I go to, but they made it happen, and I'm thankful for that.
His barber, fellow Arundel High School student Jaden Martin.
That's my first time letting a student cut my hair, so I was nervous at first.
Jaden may be young, but he is no stranger to barbering. We first met him back in March as he cut hair with his own chair at Kendrick's Barbershop in Odenton while completing the barber internship project. The program is a partnership between Rob's Barbershop Community Foundation and Kendrick's Barbershop to train young barbers. That experience inspired Jaden to use what he learned to serve his school by opening the first ever Arundel Barber and Beauty Salon.
It really is like a dream come true. It's really surreal for me personally, because I never really seen this possible.
These mirrors like at the right height.
Thanks to Robert Cradle with Rob's Barbershop Community Foundation, Arundel shop is up and running, fully funded, and fully equipped. Mr. Cradle pays Jaden and the other barbers and beauticians so students can get their hair styled free of charge.
Students have to come to school, so just making life easier for students who might not be able to, again, just get to another place, or for parents who are working after school hours, transportation, just having it here just cuts out a lot of those barriers.
Cutting out barriers so students can look and feel their best.
And when I got it my first time, I had so much confidence. The first time it happened, I felt very amazed with Jaden doing me a haircut.
A lot of students coming in here, we have a need for grooming services, and I don't want to just be giving out average haircuts just because it is a need. I want to be giving out professional cuts, and just cuts that's going to, boost everybody's confidence up, make everybody feel good.
But it's not just about making people feel good with a fresh cut. It's It's about giving them fresh perspective on a potential career.
Just seeing it every day, seeing a student operate something like this every day, I think will inspire other students. Seeing that it's possible, I think that's really the best inspiration.
It is very inspiring to see one of my other students cutting hair. It makes me kind of want to get into the haircutting industry.
A student inspiring other students with a new skill set and a new style, one haircut at a time.
Wow, I love that. Brianna Ross, thanks so much for that story. And coming up, we're looking into the future of fast food delivery. After the break, how new drone technology is taking your fries from the skies to your door in record time. That's coming up next. Stay with us. Welcome back. A group of dogs and their trainers are making fetch happen, literally, with a competitive sport called Flyball. Teams from all over the world go toe-to-toe, or in this case, paw-to-paw. Reporter Joe Allgood from our Alaska affiliate has the story on how this fast-paced game made its way to the last frontier.
People have probably never heard of Flyball.
It is drag racing for dogs.
A fast-paced sport where two teams of 4 dogs each compete to cross the finish line first. Each dog jumps the hurdles, bounces off a spring-loaded box that launches a tennis ball they must catch and carry across the finish line while the handler releases the next dog.
Each lane, you have to keep eyes on what's going on, and some of these teams are very fast.
Flyball judge Alex Jeffries watches to make sure the dogs don't go early or drop the ball before the finish line. Alex competes herself and got into Flyball after her dog showed an affinity for fetch.
I had this cute little corgi, still have her, but I was doing agility, and she really didn't want to do agility, and I was like, she really likes the ball, she likes jumping off of things, and I heard about Flyball.
Competitor Maya Doggett, a fitting name, was one of the first to bring Flyball to Alaska after receiving an email from an old instructor over 20 years ago.
And I click on it, and it said, hey, I want to start Flyball in Alaska. Does anyone want to join me? I'm like, what? So I responded right away, and guess what? I was the first person to respond to him.
Her first Flyball dog, now the logo for Alaska's first Flyball league.
That dog's name is Zoom. So he's the silhouette that you see here, and he's, the dog on the banner. And I'm very proud of him, and I miss him. He's been gone a while.
He was a good dog. He was super fast, and yeah, he was a great dog. And now he's on the banners.
Maya's son, Porter, has been flyballing his whole life.
I've probably been coming here since before I was born. When I was in preschool for show and tell, I had a video of me ball shagging, and I explained all about Flyball. It was super fun.
And is now training his own competitor.
She's always very excited to see me, but it's been pretty fun training her. She doesn't exactly listen all the time, but that's okay.
Who he has high hopes for.
She's a winner, yep.
But it's not just the competition that brings people back.
We all help each other out. We all train together, and we all just try to help each other experience the most success that we can experience, and I love that part. I love to see it happen.
Love dogs, love dog sports. I loved playing sports myself growing up, so it's kind of like pulls everything together.
And the dogs too.
Dogs love to play this game. It's heaven for them too.
What's your favorite thing about Flyball, Diva?
What's your favorite thing? What do you like? Food?
That's everyone's favorite, yeah.
Joe Allgood.
All right. Oh, there you go.
Alaska's news source.
Oh, what a good dog. Thanks so much for that, Joe. Well, we end this hour with a look at the future of fast food deliveries. Soon, you may have another option to get when you order, and we are talking about drones. Believe it or not, this service may actually get your meal to you even faster. NBC News correspondent Kathy Park is in Tennessee with more on this intriguing story. Good morning, Kathy.
Hey, Stephen, good morning to you. That's right. Drones are used for just about everything these days. And now you can get your breakfast sandwich, even your coffee, delivered to you in a matter of minutes via drone. Wendy's is currently testing out this innovative approach, and we got a closer look.
These drones are on a mission, picking up your order of burgers and fries and dropping them off just steps away from your home.
You can hear it overhead, and we just run outside and grab it.
The food's been flying in Christiansburg, Virginia, a test market where DoorDash and drones from the company Wing have partnered with Wendy's, adding another speedy option to get meals to their customers within a 6-mile range.
Why drones?
Drone delivery is kind of a natural extension of the delivery platform. How do we get that product to customers faster than we have before?
It all starts with orders on the DoorDash app. At checkout, you can choose drone delivery. Once you confirm, the employees get to work.
And it's put on an autoloader where the drone will just take the package, pick it up, and again, fly it very fast to our customer's front yard or backyard.
These drones fly up to 65 miles per hour, reaching its destination within minutes. The Hawkets say they've been using the service almost weekly.
So the minute you confirm your order on your phone, how quickly is the food delivered to your house?
Maybe within 15 or 20 minutes, I would say. Probably faster than if you got it from a delivery driver.
It's fun, it's easy and fast, and it's just something we can take off of our plate.
Keep working on the like we're crazy. Oh. Drone deliveries are taking off across the country.
Got my package.
Walmart offers a service to select customers in the Dallas area. Amazon recently expanded its delivery options near Phoenix. The FAA tells NBC News more than 380,000 drones are currently registered for commercial use. By 2028, it could be over 3 million.
Communities are finding they really like the service. They find it helpful. They like cars off the road.
With more drones in the air, privacy concerns are surfacing too, with some consumers worried about the tracking technology. In College Station, Texas,
they sound like a swarm of bees.
Some residents have complained about the noise from Amazon's drone delivery service. Feedback the company says they will take into account and consider alternate launch sites. Meanwhile, in Christiansburg, Virginia,
if you're listening for it, you can hear that little buzz when it starts to come over the trees.
Wendy's will be serving up just about everything on the menu.
We can deliver hot coffee and it will arrive hot.
And Stephen, that coffee is hot, but there are no spills either because the uniquely designed packaging that all the items are in. We should point out that Wendy's is exploring other cities to expand the service. Right now, it's only being offered in Christiansburg, Virginia, and right now the drone delivery fee is being waived.
Ooh.
Back to you.
All right. Every second counts for coffee and those fries. They got to be hot. Kathy, thanks so much for that. Interesting story. Well, that's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now, but your news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.